Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So we know the layer 1 space in blockchain is heating up really nicely with a lot of coins going on an absolute tear. And today we're going to cover up another layer 1 solution that is called Fantom. And we're going to share my price targets of where I think Fantom can achieve. Let's take a look. So Fantom. Now, if any of you have watched my Algorand video where I give my price prediction on Algorand, you can check that out here. You'll notice that the way I want to do this is you want to compare to similar assets. When you're valuing some real estate, whether you're valuing some cryptocurrencies or you're valuing some equities like Tesla, you want to find companies or cryptos which are similar and look at their market cap to get an idea of what it can achieve. So I find a lot of beginners making the basic mistake of saying, oh, Bitcoin is at $43,000. Why can't Ethereum get to $43,000? That's wrong. The price is irrelevant. It's the market cap that you want to look at. So for example, Cardano at $2.23 does not mean that it's a cheaper coin than Solana trading at $144 here, right? That's not how it works. It's the market cap you want to look at. So again, for anybody that's new out here, go and study that because it's the market cap you want to look at. If you want me to make a video on that, comment below. So let's look at the market cap. So I've listed the price of each of these top protocols here that I think we can compare to Fantom. And I've listed their market cap, their transactions per second, and their finality, which I'm going to come on to. Now, the reason for this is as follows. We know that the layer 1 platforms are trying to solve the blockchain trilemma, right? They want security, they want scalability, and they want decentralization at high throughput. And that's what all of these platforms have been created for. That's what they're all competing for. Now, I've put Bitcoin there as, the gold standard. We're not saying that Fantom can reach Bitcoin's market cap, but it's as a benchmark, right? It's to give you an idea of the ceiling at the moment in terms of market cap. And clearly you can see that's Bitcoin sitting at about 819 billion at the moment at the time of making this video, although it's crossed a trillion before, which we know. So coming on to that, you then have Ethereum, which we know is the market leader in terms of a layer 1 solution. They were the first, they were the best, they continue to be the best. They have the most total value locked, they have the most dApp builders, they have the most usage, and they're the best platform out there. Although we know that Ethereum are not the strongest in terms of scalability. They have very high gas fees. They have low amounts of transactions per second, 20, and we can see their finality is slow. Even on ETH 2.0, it's targeted at 14 minutes, okay? So these are the things they're trying to solve in Ethereum 2.0, but these have offered an opportunity for a whole bunch of competitor layer 1 solutions to come into the market. And we've seen various different from Cardano, who's been doing really well recently. They had their Cardano summit over the weekend. They're sitting at 71 billion market cap. They have more transactions per second and a much faster finality than Bitcoin and Ethereum. You then have Solana, which has been an absolute tear recently, sitting now at 42 billion. They have the most throughput of any layer 1 solution at the moment at 50,000 proven, although I cannot find a figure yet of their block finality. And then we've covered off Algorand before in a previous video. Again, go check that out. They're sitting at 10 billion currently with 1,000 transactions per second. So not as fast in terms of throughput, but it's faster in terms of block finality versus all the others. So you can see they're settling a transaction in 4.4 seconds. Right, so those are the ones we're going to compare against. And now we're going to look at our coin, which is Fantom. And Fantom's currently sitting at $1.23. It's got a $3 billion market cap. And their transaction per second, whilst on their white paper, it says they can achieve up to 300,000 transactions per second. In real life applications, we're seeing about 5,000 to 7,000. So I wanted to use the conservative number to give you an idea of how fast it is. So it's much faster than all of them apart from Solana, that's their trademark, right? Solana's the quickest, they're the best, and that's the thing. That's what Solana's known for. But look at that block finality time, 1 to 2 seconds. That's quicker than Algorand currently, although Algorand say they're going to get to about 2 seconds as well. But it's clearly miles ahead of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and even Cardano at this point. So you can clearly see Fantom have, they believe they've got the answer to the blockchain trilemma of scalability and security. The way they do that is they use an asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance mechanism, and they actually give each application their own blockchain. So in essence, they're running a network of different blockchains, which mean that transactions can be run in parallel. And that's how they get the success that they're getting. Now, the other positive with Fantom is all smart contracts, they already have smart contract capability. All smart contracts are written in Solidity, which is the programming language of Ethereum. Now, what this means is they're 100% compatible with EVM, right? The Ethereum virtual machine. So if somebody's written a smart contract in Ethereum, they can easily port that across to Fantom, which is a great opportunity for dApp builders to just copy and paste their smart application and have exposure on the Fantom network as well. So that's really powerful for Fantom. Now, the other point we've seen just from a fundamental perspective is we know it's fast, we know it's secure, we know it's affordable in terms of they have a transaction cost of just a few cents. That's really powerful in a time where Ethereum gas fees are anywhere from $50 to $100 at a time. So when you're looking at transaction fees of a fraction of a cent, that really does put them far ahead of where Ethereum is sitting right now in terms of those stats. Now, we currently know that Uzbekistan have decided to use Fantom to modernize its IT infrastructure. So we can see Fantom is starting to get some good traction. They've got about 850 million total value locked. I mean, SpookySwap, which is their version of Uniswap as their decentralized exchange, has 192 million total value locked. So you can clearly see they're moving in the right direction. So that brings me on to where can it be in terms of pricing? Well, what I've done here is I've put each of the protocols down the left-hand side, and I've put their current market cap, and then I've put what multiple growth would you have to achieve to reach that market cap. So obviously this top one is far-fetched. If for whatever reason Fantom was to achieve Bitcoin's market cap of 819 billion, they would have to do a 273x, which would put a Fantom token, which is currently sitting at $1.23, sitting at $336, right? So you would have 273 times your money. So if you put $1,000 in, you would get $273,000 back. Now, unrealistic, Fantom is not going to reach Bitcoin's market cap, but I wanted to put that there as the gold standard of the highest market cap cryptocurrency we have and the biggest considered sort of value we have. Now, we need to remember one thing here. These are all the current market caps. So I'm going to share the growth based on the current market caps of these coins. But don't forget, all of these coins are going to move forward. And therefore, the ceiling is going to get higher and higher, giving Solana, Algorand, Fantom more room to grow. And that's what's important here, right? We've already seen Bitcoin was over $1 trillion. We can see Ethereum was much higher before. So they're going to move that ceiling up. So I'm being very conservative in saying that if these protocols didn't move and Fantom was just to do, over the next couple of years what Cardano or Solana or Ethereum are doing now, what price target could we assume? So it's a very conservative approach. So let's look at Ethereum. So we've covered off that the transaction fees are better on Fantom, the speed, the security, the block finality is better. It's covered off the trilemma better than Ethereum. So for it to reach Ethereum's current market cap today, it would have to do 121x. So if over the next few years, Fantom could achieve what Ethereum's achieved in terms of building smart contracts, getting a few good NFT plays, get good total value locked on a DeFi, which we're already seeing with SpookySwap, that would imply 121x, and it will move Fantom to $149. Now, whilst I don't think that's super likely, in the short term, i.e. in 2021, I definitely think that is possible as the overall market grows. I would not rule out another 100x. I mean, to put this into perspective, Fantom has done 7,000% year to date, right? 7,000%. So that's a 70x year to date. So to imply that 121x over the next decent period of time is not possible, it is, because the whole market's going to grow, and therefore that's Ethereum. If Ethereum is sitting at 900, $1 trillion market cap, because they've done a 3x, then that creates much more room for altcoins, which we know move much faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So definitely that's a potential target, 149. Now, moving on to something a bit more likely is a Cardano. Because we know Cardano's only just launched their smart contract functionality with Alonzo. We know that we've just shown, let's go back. We've just shown that the finality is far quicker on Fantom. We've shown the throughput in terms of transaction per second is much more faster than Cardano. So if it was to reach Cardano's market cap was 71 billion, that would imply a 24x. And you guys know I love Cardano. I was an early investor in Cardano. I've got a big part of my portfolio in Cardano. It's done really well for me. But the reality is Fantom has just as much traction and if not better technical specs than Cardano at this point, right? So there's no reason to imply that we couldn't get a 24x on Fantom, and that would take it to $30. Although I would caveat that with saying that Cardano has an amazing community, right? They have the most staked coins of any coin out there in cryptocurrency, right? Because the community is so, including myself, they're so dedicated to the Cardano vision, and they believe in it for the long term. They're long-term hodlers, and that's what Fantom will need to build out in order to catch up with Cardano, because on a technical basis the blockchain covers off more than Cardano in terms of transactions per second, block finality. But we know it's not just about that as well. It's about attracting good dApp builders. It's about attracting people to come build in your ecosystem. There's a whole sales and marketing element which is important as well. And that's where you can see Cardano with their Cardano Summit, the work Charles Hodgkinson does. Fantom's a bit slower on that front. They've got all the technical specs right, but they've got to do more of the business side of really promoting their blockchain and getting some of the best dApp developers out. If they do that, or they can start getting on the journey to doing that, there's a 24x to $30 Fantom just in doing that. And that's without Cardano moving. I believe Cardano, we can make a separate video on this, has opportunities to 10x and more on its own, because Cardano is currently, you can see here, at least a 5x away from it where Ethereum is today. Okay, so we know people are saying, look, Bitcoin is to reach 200k. For Bitcoin to reach 200k, that implies another 4x in Bitcoin, right? So that sits you at 3.2 trillion market cap in Bitcoin. Now, if Bitcoin's getting to 3.2 trillion, Ethereum's easily got space to get to 1 trillion market cap, and that lifts up the whole market. Then Cardano can get to the market cap of where Ethereum's going, and all these other ones will start to build up as more and more institutional money, hedge funds, pension funds start moving and flocking across to cryptocurrencies. We're going to have far a greater overall market cap for the whole crypto space. So this whole ceiling, it's really important that we understand this whole ceiling has the potential to increase. So that would imply a $30 Fantom. Now, let's get even more conservative. For those of you who are like, no, it can never be a Cardano, which I don't see why not. What about a Solana? We've just seen Solana go on a tear, and it's sitting at 42 billion now, although it was higher than this during its tear when Solana broke through 200s easily. So if for it to reach Solana's current market cap of 42 billion, that's a 14x. That would have a Fantom at a modest target of $17. And this is definitely achievable, guys. I've just shown you the stats. There's not massive difference in terms of Fantom and Solana in terms of the technical specs. Solana doesn't have massive adoption, although it is ahead of Fantom in my opinion. But it's definitely something that Fantom can go and achieve over the next period of time, right? And as Solana increases its ceiling and it grows, because again, we've seen solid growth in Solana, and we've seen higher market caps than this already. There's no reason that Fantom could not reach a $42 billion market cap, and we could be seeing a $17 to $20 Fantom coin. Very achievable. And then the last one is super achievable, and that is Algorand. Because we've seen Algorand has far more legs than this. I made the video on that. Please do go check that out. We know Algorand has much more potential to be higher, and it's only sitting at a $10 billion market cap despite its run, right? So for it just to reach that, that's an easy 3x on Fantom coin to reach where Algorand is right now. And we know, I always say, don't back the coin, back the trend, back the overall macro trend. And the macro trend I've been harping on about a lot on these videos are the layer one spaces, right? If you have a layer one technology, you are building a hot commodity right now, because a lot of money is going to flow into layer one. What we've just seen so far is just the beginning, right? You've got Bitcoin as your store of value, and people are starting to understand the store of value play, but they're still new to DeFi, they're still new to NFT, they're still new to all these use cases which are being built on Ethereum and will be built on Cardano, Solana, Algorand. I'm sure of it. And you're already seeing green shoots of this happening. And when the mass adoption starts, this whole space, this whole layer one space is going to boom. And I can't tell you which coin is going to be the one that tears. I can't tell you if it's an Algorand or a Solana or if it's a Fantom or anything else. But what I can tell you is that the overall market's going to move, and therefore it would be prudent, and this is not financial advice, but it would be prudent of you to dollar cost average into a selection, create a basket of your favorite layer one solutions and invest in the space as a whole. And that's what I'm doing. Do your own research to find out the best strategy for you. But I can't tell you if Ethereum 2.0 is going to be the biggest one. I can't tell you if Cardano is going to flip them. I can't tell you if Solana long term is going to be the one and Cardano gets forgotten about. I can just bet on the space. I can tell you that social networking is going to be a thing. I can't tell you if it's MySpace or Twitter or if it's going to be Facebook. I can't tell you who's going to win, but I can tell you that the layer one space is going to be here to stay. And so anybody who's operating in that space with a level of success, like these protocols we've spoken about today, I'm more than happy to start building a basket around those, and really building a portfolio around those layer one coins. So for me, a bit of Ethereum, a bit of Cardano, a bit of Solana, Algorand. I don't need to bet on one of these. I have favorites from those, and I'll put more in those favorites, but I can't tell you that it's just going to be Cardano or it's just going to be Solana, put everything in Solana. I think those who tell you that or advise you that are misleading you, because the reality is this is going to come down to who builds the biggest community the fastest and has the best use cases. And we can harp upon about that, as long as we want. And I've used this example many times before. If iOS does not have good app builders on the App Store, developers, nobody will be using iPhones. And that's exactly the same thing. Nobody will use Solana if there's not great apps being built on there. If you don't have good DeFi products, you don't have NFT products, you don't have good gaming, nobody will use Solana. Same for Algorand, same for Fantom, same for Cardano. It's a race to get all of these developers. And these developers are finite. Right? Yes, the ecosystem of developers are growing, same as it was with the App Store, right? Nobody was developing apps, mobile apps back then. But then when the community started growing, more people started buying iPhones. It's a two-way network. The more people that buy iPhones, the more people develop apps. The more people develop apps, the more people buy iPhones. Same thing here, right? The more people that use Fantom in this instance, the more people build apps for Fantom. The more people that build apps for Fantom, the more people use Fantom, right? And then the price will move accordingly. So you've seen this a lot with all of these, Cardano, Solana, Algorand. They've all launched funds to incentivize app developers to come onto the platform. And that's really important. This is an arms race to attract the best talent to come and build on our blockchain. Because the fact that layer one solutions are going to exist it's written already. It's happened. It's going to be there. It's not going anywhere. But now it's about who's going to build the best ones, who's going to have the best apps. And that's why they're trying to attract all of these developers onto their platforms and get them to stay. And that's why I like Fantom, because Fantom is built in Solidity, which means all of those great apps which people are used to on Ethereum can easily port across to Fantom and carry on without having to rewrite their code. And that is a massive way of attracting developers, because developers don't want to rewrite all their code just for a newer blockchain, which they don't know if people are going to use or not. Okay, so there you have it, guys. Those are my price predictions for Fantom. Easily another, for me, 14 to 24x to get it to Solana, in between Solana and Cardano market cap. But going forward, I think the whole market is going to go on a tear, and I would not rule out a 50 to 70x on Fantom coin over the longer term period. But I mean, if you're willing to buy and hold. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you want more breakdowns and price targets of different tokens, comment them below, and I will see you in the next one.